Being a fan of Damian Wayne Robin in the DC Comics universe can be very, very frustrating. It feels like every time the character takes 2 or 3 steps forward, he takes 4 steps backwards, always reverting to his original state of just kind of being a little shithead. And I don't mind shithead Damian Wayne Robin. Actually, I think he's pretty funny. But I would like to see the character grow a little bit. And that's been one of the really cool things, only 3 issues into the new Batman and Robin run from Phillip Kennedy Johnson, with Javi Fernandez on art, at least for the first 2 issues, and Miguel Mendoza was actually the artist on the last issue. The Josh Williamson Batman and Robin was fine. It wasn't particularly good. It certainly wasn't doing anything with Damian Wayne, but it does feel like Phillip Kennedy Johnson is putting an enormous focus on actually developing Damian Wayne and making him a human being, which nobody has really tried to do in a long time. Certainly, I would say Grant Morrison, who created Damian Wayne Robin in his Batman series, which I absolutely hate. I despise that Batman series. But as Batman and Robin, with Dick Grayson as Batman and Damian Wayne as Robin, is really, really fantastic. And one of the biggest reasons why is because he really does develop the Damian Wayne character and makes him a human being, which we hadn't really seen to that point. And everyone keeps reverting him to the like Batman Grant Morrison, Damian Wayne, that absolutely sucks. Well, he doesn't absolutely suck, but being in that continual state absolutely does suck, because every time he goes somewhere, they just kind of bring him back to it. Josh Williamson did a little bit with the character during his Robin series, kind of gave him a girlfriend, made him a little bit more relatable. I kind of like that. We've kind of just dropped all that stuff. Before that, we did get the Super Son series from Peter J. Tomasi, obviously, where John Kent and his do-gooder attitude was rubbing off a little bit on Damian Wayne and making him a better character. But it feels like Phil Kennedy Johnson is going to work harder and try harder than anybody before him to really develop this character. And what he's done in only 3 issues has been really, really exciting. If you are not reading Batman and Robin, what are you thinking? You need to get on this, because it's been absolutely fantastic. Get in early while the getting's good, because the getting's real good right now. And there's actually an article kind of talking about this, and I agree with a lot of these points. DC Comics is setting up a brand new future for Robin, and it sees him becoming something even better than a superhero. Batman and Robin are continuing their investigation in the mysterious Memento murders. However, a conversation between Bruce and Damian Wayne reveals that the latter may be setting off in a new direction for his future, embracing a life of medicine over vigilantism. This is a great conversation, and I've really enjoyed all 3 issues, but this was my second favorite moment of Batman and Robin so far. There's actually a moment where there's an interrogation of Scarecrow in the same issue. I think it's 18. I might be wrong on that one. But with the interrogation of Scarecrow, I think is even better, because it's a really good Batman scene. But this one between Batman, more on the Bruce Wayne side, and Robin, more on the Damian Wayne side, it was really good, because Batman has kind of introduced Robin, Damian Wayne, to his grandfather, not Ra's al Ghul, the only one that everyone talks about, but actually Thomas Wayne, by kind of giving him his journal and his life story, and asking him to kind of learn some life lessons from his grandpa that he never met. And through that, Robin has started to volunteer at the local hospital to kind of honor his grandfather's legacy and memories. He's kind of getting to know him, which is great character growth. You know, finally, he's decided that there's something more out there than just going out there and beating up bad guys and stopping murders. Not that that stuff's bad, but, you know, he finally has something that he's kind of working towards that isn't just about being a vigilante. And the response from Bruce Wayne Batman is fantastic. He is beside himself. You can't be giving up patrols. You know, this is the time when I need you the most. And I love the response from Damian Wayne. He's like, hey, man, my head's weird. I had this weird thing happen with this little girl. You know, it's my fault. You know, at least I believe it's my fault that she got injured or whatever. And I'm looking for more out of life. And Batman is absolutely beside himself that he would actually choose going out there and volunteering at a hospital and trying to help people rather than going on patrols with Batman. And I thought it was really, really cool. And I like that Damian stood up for himself, but not in the typical Damian Wayne fashion. He was much more vulnerable, almost more emotional about it. And I kind of really like that. I thought it was a great scene. And it's one of the best scenes we've gotten from Damian Wayne Robin in a really, really long time. A major aspect of Damian's most recent storylines has been his attempt to find himself and his own identity outside of being the son of Batman. Joshua Williamson's Robin and subsequent Batman and Robin series focused on this issue, with Damian striking out on his own and making connections with other kids his age. As the new writer, Johnson's arc is continuing that trend by asking who Damian could be without being a vigilante. As Damian grows up, these questions become essential to the character as he matures and self-actualizes. Now, I don't look into it that deep. Like, he really needs to self-actualize. I just think he needs to become a fully rounded, like, well-developed character. And he's very, very one-note a lot of the times when people use him. Go read Batman Santa Claus this week, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That is a very one-note version of Damian Wayne going on in that series, and that's why I'm not really enjoying this year's Batman and Santa Claus. I think I said Batman and Robin earlier. I meant Batman and Santa Claus. Last year's was good. This year's not so much. But I do think Joshua Williamson, while he did flesh out the character and had him go to Lazarus Island and enter the Lazarus tournament, and there were some kind of goofy things in there like XXL, if you remember that character, giving Damian Wayne a girlfriend, an actual love interest, even though he was a young man, in Flatline, I thought was actually pretty cool. Not because I wanted to see them canoodling or him writing love letters or whatever, but it gives him something to kind of fight for, to go out there and learn, make mistakes with. And I was actually hoping that Josh Williamson's Robin series would end up being like a team-up book, mostly with Flatline and Robin, but a little bit of like Connor Hawk in there, and maybe a couple of those other characters, including XXL, which was really, really strange, to where he could go out there and do something that wasn't Bat family related, because there are plenty of heroes in Gotham. And if Damian's ever going to do his own thing and become his own person and have his own mantle, although it does seem like he's just destined to become Batman himself, he's going to have to do something. And I really enjoyed the things that Josh Williamson started, but it did feel like he completely halted all that. Even when he brought Flatline back into Batman and Robin, it kind of sucked. And that was the thing I was looking forward to the most. And I do think the Simone DeMille art didn't help, really. What a bad choice of artist on a Batman book, to where she just shows up and it's like, oh, my sister, I got a long-lost sister, and she's got superpowers, or she's trying to get superpowers, and she's working with Deathman and all that kind of stuff. And it really just kind of ruined all the things that he'd set up. And I appreciate that someone's going to take the time and actually do something with this character. Notably, this development sees Damian following in the footsteps of both of his grandfathers. Thomas Wayne himself was a doctor before his untimely death in Crime Alley, with his devotion to medicine being a major reason why Bruce takes his vow against killing so seriously. This development also sees Damian following in the footsteps of Ra's al Ghul in unexpected ways. As Ra's was a physician long before he was ever the demon's head, the question of legacy was always hung over Damian's shoulders, and a path of medicine may be the answer he's looking for. Now, I don't believe that this is setting up Damian to become a physician. I think he's just learning about the Wayne family legacy from a different lens or perspective than that of Batman, who obviously is his father. And Bruce Wayne is absolutely dedicated to the mission of protecting Gotham and keeping the streets safe and making sure that no kid ever has to experience what he happened to experience in Crime Alley with the death of his parents right in front of him and all those types of things. So he's seen Gotham and the legacy of the Wayne family from a very unique and distinct perspective of his father. And now that he's reading these journals and what his father was doing for Gotham and the work that he was doing in the hospital, and likely the hopes and dreams he not only had for his family, but certainly for his son Bruce, is giving Damian a little bit of a new perspective on life. I don't think this really has anything to do much with Ra's al Ghul. He's certainly been mentioned within the story arc, and the Ra's al Ghul legacy certainly is like a black cloud hanging over David. He's going to be the demon's head. He's going to be the guy that pick up the mantle and become the leader of the League of Shadows and, end the world and all that stuff. At least that's what Ra's al Ghul wants him to be. Obviously, he's turned his back on that. And I love the fact that he's getting to get to know his grandfather, the one that he's never met, because he's dead before he was born, and actually learn what he was about and maybe be inspired by that and realize there's something in this world outside of, ninja training and fighting and trying to keep the streets safe, that you can help people in other ways. And it's definitely, I think it's going to add layers and layers and layers to the character. Obviously, we haven't seen that fully play out yet. We've only seen him mention, hey, I'm volunteering at hospitals, because I've been inspired by my grandfather and all that kind of stuff. But I do think this is going to really do some things with the character that we haven't seen before. And Phillip Kennedy Johnson, well, he does like to lore build, and he certainly likes to flesh things out, with lots of history things and throwing pieces in there. he's actually really good with kids and fleshing out, relationships between father and son. I believe it's probably because he has a son of his own. And he's definitely doing that very, very well. If you haven't been checking out Batman and Robin, it's really, really good. I can't sell it high enough. Damian going down this road may fill the void left behind by Alfred's passing, and also allowing Damian to honor the memory of someone who was deeply influential in his life. Overall, Damian's pursuit of medicine sets up a bold new future for him, one where he may become better than a superhero. While it is unlikely that Damian Wayne will ever quit being Robin, this new path to his future could be what lets him have his own destiny in life, not bound to the expectations of his mother or father. Like I said, I don't believe this is setting up the thing where like Damian all of a sudden wants to become a doctor and he goes to medical school and has to take 8 years off from being a superhero, because I don't believe you'd be able to juggle that like all that kind of work, the workload it would take to actually become like a doctor or a surgeon or whatever. I think he's just honoring his grandfather's legacy, understanding what he stood for, that the Wayne family is bigger than Batman. It's bigger than the legacy of what Batman has done within Gotham, that his grandfather was doing great works within Gotham, trying to save the city for a very, very long time, and built something that could mean more than just patrolling the streets and taking out bad guys here and there. As far as, filling the void of Alfred left behind, I assume that Alfred's coming back soon. I've heard that rumor that Alfred's actually coming back in Hush 2, which would probably be pretty smart. He's been gone for a really long time. When David saw him get his neck broken by Bane or whatever in City of Bane, really stupid moment. I think if Tom King could take one thing back, I think he would take that back. Actually, never mind. If he could take two things back, first he would take back the wedding that didn't happen, and then he would take back the Alfred killing. Two really bad things that happened during his run. And I do think the Alfred thing has not worked out in anyone's favor. But as I mentioned, I've heard that he's coming back anyway. But I don't think Damian needs to fill the void left by Alfred in his untimely death. I think he needs to become his own person. He can't just be Mini Bruce. Mini Bruce doesn't work. We saw that with Tim Drake. He needs to be something else. He needs to have his own personality, his own interests, his own wants and desires and all that stuff. He can certainly still be Robin, but he needs to be something more than that. He can't just be a whiny little shit know-it-all his entire fucking life. Otherwise, the character is just so one note, it's not even funny. And when you see him one note, as I said, like you get in Batman Santa Claus, it's not very enjoyable. I like this a lot more. Really appreciating this one. If you have not been reading Batman and Robin, you are crazy. Go check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. And I do believe, or I do hope, that they keep Miguel Mendonca on as the full-time artist, because I thought it was an enormous step up. Not that Javi Fernandez wasn't doing a good job. I just think Miguel Mendonca is a far better artist, especially for Batman. I think he really knocked that one out of the park. Enjoyed talking about this. If you would like to support what we're doing here on Think Critical YouTube, talking about all the stuff going on in comic books, good and bad, and certainly highlighting something that's really, really awesome right here, right now, the best place to do that and support me is on Think Critical Patreon. And if you do that, there's lots of different tiers, lots of fun stuff going on there, including like a free preview week for Christmas Day. You'll also see a lot of that stuff here on YouTube as well. Hope to see you there very, very soon. There's a link in the video description. Come visit.